organization is one that aims to support people from all backgrounds, their carers and members of the community, to work with people with disability, to support people with disability. I have put up some of the languages of our staff and the languages of the clients that we work with, just to give you an idea about, the scope of the work that we do. We have a lot of staff members in our organisation. In fact, most of the staff members in our organisation do speak another language, so that's really helpful. So I've just put that up there just to make sure that you understand, we have clients from all over the world and we have staff from all over the world. ADEC does work in quite a few different areas. This isn't even in the total list. So the unit that I'm the team leader for is the NDIS unit. We also offer pre-planning for the NDIS. We have advocacy, community and home support program, which Fiona from our organisation will be discussing as well. We do access and support, planned activity groups, capacity building projects, and there are a lot of projects going on as well that ADEC offers. And we also are offering My Aged Care. So what I'm talking about today is just what ADEC can offer for our NDIS program, and also we'll talk a little bit about how we work specifically with people from core backgrounds. So the three main components of my team's work is support coordination, plan management, and NDIS appeals and reviews. Now we also do offer pre-planning, as I said before, and the pre-planning is offered by our advocacy department, so it's separate to mine. But we have advocates who they speak Arabic, Persian, I believe, I think there's a couple of other languages. And the advocates will work with people who are applying to the NDIS and who are trying to get their head around it, and then who also want help with pre-planning. So they'll meet with people, they'll help them to go through the application process, they'll help them learn about the NDIS, identify their goals with the scheme, and sort of work towards getting their first plan in place. Once we actually have someone's plan in place, then our team can offer support coordination, and we also do plan management. And then appeals and reviews as well is something that ADEC also has funding for. So for our support coordination work that we do, there are a lot of organisations that offer support coordination. Some of you here might be support coordinators. So we help people learn about the NDIS. We help link people with really good quality NDIS funded supports. Our support coordinators spend a lot of time helping people to strengthen their informal supports and aiming to achieve the goals they set out in the plan or other goals that they might identify and overcome any barriers that they might experience. These barriers, because we work with people from ethnic communities, we have a team of people who are really trained in cultural competency and who are really good at identifying potential cultural barriers that people may have and to help them overcome those to be able to allow them to implement their plan. In our support coordination team at the moment, we have support coordinators who speak Mandarin, Vietnamese, Arabic, and Turkish, who is Amy, and she'll be talking as well soon. And that's just growing as well. So we're just sort of, more and more staff are coming on board that speak different languages. In the organisation, in total, you saw the list before of how many languages that we offer. So we, at ADEC, we also offer plan management as part of our NDIS work. So our plan management team will engage with people to help them, pay their invoices, link with their, sort of communicate with their service providers, create their service bookings, resolve budgeting issues, which can happen quite frequently. I'm sure a lot of you will appreciate. For anyone that doesn't know, plan management can be something that the NDIS will put in the plan if they see that it's a reasonable and necessary support. And if you do, then get that funding and we're able to help with providing plan management services. Appeals and reviews it's a service that we get a lot of questions about because we're one of the only 12 organisations in Victoria that provide this service. So this service is free. You don't need to have this funding in an NDIS plan.
It's okay, we'll look at that later.
So we have an NDIS appeals officer, and their purpose is to be an independent support person to help people firstly identify if they're able to make an appeal or review at all, They can help provide information about the NDIS, explain the NDIS decision, work out if they have the scope to actually put in a review. And then if they do, they'll help them with all of the review process, whether it's an internal review with the NDIS, an external review with the AAT. They can help people prepare their cases, take them to hearings, build people's confidence as well to be able to present their cases themselves. And again, it's a free service, so it's something that if maybe you're a support coordinator and you've got someone whose plan is right, or you might be helping someone in the community, and if they've got an issue where maybe they've applied to the NDIS and they've been rejected. A lot of people will be rejected, but they won't understand why, and it could be a simple fix or it could be more complicated, but the appeals person is able to help them through that process. And we've just, for instance, we're working on a few cases at the moment where we've had people that have been rejected for the scheme, maybe because their medical evidence wasn't good enough. And especially for us, when we're working with people from cold backgrounds, they might not understand all of the lingo and the paperwork that they receive. They, communicating to the doctors about how to prepare a medical report that the NDIS will actually accept can be pretty complicated for a lot of people. So we have people here at ADEC who work with them to try to overcome those barriers and help them with any review or appeal issues that they might have. With ADEC, because we obviously spend a lot of time supporting people from core backgrounds with either pre-planning or plan implementation or appeals and reviews, our staff are extremely culturally competent. We have staff who, if we can, will match someone with someone that speaks their language. So for instance, if I get a referral in and it's for someone who maybe only speaks Mandarin, I will link them with a Mandarin support coordinator in the team. And I feel like that's generated some really good results because we're able to have people explaining things in their own languages, especially when you have some of the technical terminology with the NDIS. Having someone that can communicate and discuss it in their first language is a really huge help. We're also registered with TIS, and our staff as well are really well trained in working with interpreters. So if we can't provide someone with a staff member that speaks their language, then we will help them to use interpreters and be able to do that whenever they need and in whatever language that might be. As I said, we're really, the staff that we have are quite experienced in working with people from core backgrounds. And we also have been building up a lot of knowledge about organizations that can provide services to support our clients in particular. So we might have someone come through, for instance, I had a Dinka speaking client come through. They don't speak any English, and because of an intellectual disability and some communication difficulties that she had, it was really challenging for her to work with interpreters. So we sort of went, above and beyond to really link her with services that would help her. And eventually we were able to find a Dinka-speaking service provider, pretty much the only one that we could find in Victoria, a Dinka-speaking support worker. And so we were able to get better results than if we were just linking her with English-speaking service providers that perhaps she couldn't have communicated with, even with the help of an interpreter. So we really try to spend a lot of time when we get new referrals in to be able to find services that are going to be right for somebody. And we're building up a pretty good knowledge base at the moment of maybe service providers that can offer people that speak different languages, or maybe have shared cultural views or something like that, just to make it easier for our clients. So we've got Amy, who is one of our NDIS support officers. And Amy's just going to have a quick chat about some of the work that she does. She's Turkish speaking, and so we've matched her with quite a few Turkish participants. And she's just going to have a chat about some of the issues that she's identified and maybe some of the outcomes that she's had through being able to communicate in the same language.
Thanks, Val. Okay, so bear with me, guys. I get really nervous and not protect this. So I'm one of the Turkish-speaking support coordinators. So I've got a caseload that's not only Turkish-speaking. I've had Vietnamese clients, Macedonian, Croatian, Serbian. There's from every country. There's always a new client. We work with many disabilities and linking people to service providers like occupational therapists, speech therapists, psychology, behaviour supports, day services. And we also try to address everyone's cultural needs. I've had requests for like sourcing a Muslim male support worker to take a participant to the mosque, or just people that are support workers that are generally culturally sensitive for religious purposes. Language barriers has been one that constantly comes up, especially when it comes to NDIS terminology and service agreements. Another example is I've had a few clients that even though they speak basic English, it's always assumed that they understand the service agreements. But I sometimes get phone calls where someone will say, look, I didn't understand what this service provider was explaining to me, so I try and call, find out, and go back and tell the NDIS participant and make sure that they do understand. There's also been times where service agreements, people haven't been aware that they've actually signed a service agreement. And service providers will say, look, we've explained it, they said they understand, and then we have to kind of go back and look over paperwork and make sure that they have signed the right documents and what they've signed and explain it to them. So we've also had a lot of COLD families that are reluctant to accept outside help with support workers going into their homes, or sending a child to a day service or supported accommodation. So we try our best to at least encourage for support workers to be able to help the parents, and we talk them through everything and get interpreters involved if we have to, and organise a meeting for them to meet a support worker and then decide whether they'll be comfortable. So we find a lot of ways to overcome the barriers. And yeah, we get a good outcome. So I'll pass it back to Mel.
I think we're going to Fiona now.
Okay, so we're going to Fiona.
So, hi everyone, I'm Fiona from the Community and Home Support Program. So basically our program provides assistance to children and adults living with a disability throughout Victoria with community access, personal care and developing independent living skills. But I'll go into each of those more as we go on further. So basically our model of support, the way we work with our clients, is that we try and promote and encourage independence, that we're person-centred, so that means being very focused on what the goals of the client and the family are for the person with a disability. Being strengths-based, so focusing on the person with a disability's strengths and what they can achieve. Being culturally sensitive, so most of our support workers speak a different language, are from different cultures, so we're often able to match our clients with a worker of the same language or culture. We're family-centred, which means we liaise with the families, involved in families, with the support that the client receives, and that also includes when we develop a plan, we consult with the families and the person with the disability. The other thing that we do is we're quite responsive to hearing from families and also from the client about the way they want support to be done. So the other thing we do is assist the clients to develop social and community connections so that they can be out in the community doing the sort of things that they want to be able to do. So community access, some examples here of the different types of community access support that we would provide. Attending medical appointments, participating in leisure activities and recreation activities, developing social connections, assistance to attend a school or a course, and any other goals that are identified by the client and or the family. So some further examples of that would be bowling, going to the museum, attending doctor's appointments, swimming. Here's a bit of a case example of a client that we supported. So in late 2006 we met with, call him Peter, and his family and discussed his goals and needs. A plan was completed which included attending a course to assist with securing employment and playing in a cricket team. So now Peter has completed the employment course and is doing work experience as a car detailer, and he has participated in cricket matches for over 2 years. So with regard to personal care, the sort of personal care that we provide to clients can include showering, sort of personal care things might be around shaving, dressing, toileting, meal assistance. And with regards to independent living skills, the sort of things that we can help people with a disability achieve is to learn to shop for and prepare a meal, accessing and using public transport, learning to do household chores, learning to handle money. So for example, baking cakes, learning to catch the bus, learning to use the washing machine to wash clothes. So if you want to find out more about the Community and Home Support Program, you can contact either Brandy or myself on their phone number or by emailing us. So yeah, either referral or inquiries can go to the email or by calling us. Thank you.